hopefully we've got another Is This The Sims 5 on our hands. I made a video recently talking about The Sims 4 and the future of that game and what I want to see in The Sims 4 and the best parts of The Sims 4 and what I want to see this year and stuff like that. And I thought it'd be fun today to sit back and talk instead about The Sims 5. I know, crazy, okay? But if I were to create this ideal base game for a new Sims game, what would it look like? What are the best parts of The Sims 2, 3, 4 that I want to incorporate into a new base game for The Sims 5? And so I want to kind of break down my opinions on this and like spill them. I don't know. I feel like it's fun to talk about these things. Obviously, my opinions are my own. You probably have different ones. I'd love to hear them in the comments. Everybody, what's your ideal Sims 5? Comments, please. My videos like this where I do Sims commentary, the comments are so much fun to read because I did a video talking about like what I want to see in The Sims 4 or the worst parts of build mode, and the comments are so fun to read and see people's like opinions about like everything wrong with the game and like what they want to see in new packs and stuff. So if you want to look at those videos, I'll link them down below. There's a playlist. I have like 3. I love to talk about The Sims. I love to play the game too, but I love to talk about The Sims. I'm a very long time player of this game. It is very near and dear to my heart, obviously. I'm a little bit obsessed. But I'm about to expose myself as like the biggest Sims nerd ever, okay? So bear with me. It's gonna be embarrassing, but hopefully you feel the same way. Let's talk Sims 5. Okay, I have some probably unpopular opinions about this, so I'm gonna get those out of the way really fast because I think the issue of the open world is a pretty big one. I think that's probably the most like debated thing, like the biggest issue with the Sims 4 people have is like this open world, there's loading screens, nah. Let's talk. I'm gonna explain to you guys how The Sims 3 worked for a second, just to like refresh your memory. Maybe you didn't play it and you didn't know, but The Sims 3 had an open world. So you could travel from your home lot to like the library downtown with no loading screen. Your Sim would get in a car, drive down there, spend like an hour in the car, driving to the library, and then they would go to the library and then drive back, and they didn't have any loading screens in between that. It was all just one open, seamless gameplay, right? In The Sims 4, if I wanted to go to the library, I would travel with the map view, go there, loading screen, load in, then I'm at the library. And so it's a little bit annoying to have a loading screen, sure, but I think the time spent traveling is often very similar to the time spent in a loading screen, for one. But however awesome and immersive that open world feels, when your Sim gets to the library, there's nobody there. Like, you could have them go out to a hotspot nightclub on, like, Friday night, where it was advertised it would be a hotspot, there's supposed to be Sims everywhere, and you get there and it's just the bartender. That's no fun. Like, I want to have a world where it feels more immersive with people around. So in The Sims 4, if I go to a nightclub, there's people everywhere. If I go to the park, people everywhere. The library, anything, there's just people around all the time. And in The Sims 3, that wasn't the case at all. There was never people anywhere, ever. I used online dating constantly just to make friends because there was no one around ever. And I would much rather choose a loading screen over that empty world because it's no fun to go to a nightclub and have nobody around. I'd rather load into it and have Sims show up. And so it sucks to have loading screens everywhere, but like, I'd take that any day over the emptiness in The Sims 3. And I think people forget about that because like, it's really annoying to have loading screens, sure, but I don't know, as far as gameplay goes, I'd prefer to have people around. I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but like I feel very strongly about this, and I've seen people talk about like the idea of maybe an open neighborhood. So the way that The Sims 4 works is you have like these smaller neighborhoods where there's like 4 houses or 4 lots, and the world around each lot is open, so you can like go to the little playground behind the house, and you can like garden outside in the little community garden, but you can't actually travel between lots without a loading screen. And I've seen ideas thrown around about like maybe if the neighborhood was open, so you could go to your neighbor's house without a loading screen, but to get to the library you have to take a loading screen. And that makes sense to me. I don't know about performance though, how much better that would be or worse, or I don't know, maybe they could make that work in The Sims 5. But my point is that I'm okay without it being an open world. I don't care about the open world. I like I said, it's a more immersive maybe to like travel somewhere and see your Sim, get in a car and walk that way, but like loading screens are better. Don't attack me. Speaking of cars, I really hope that we get cars in The Sims 5. And this is me coming from the fact that I don't care about cars at all. Like, I honestly could not care less about cars in real life. And in The Sims 4, I've kind of accepted the lack of cars. Like, I'm like, okay, we probably won't get them, whatever. Like, I've gotten there. I mean, I felt the same way about toddlers. I reached a point where I was like, I give up. We're not getting them. And then we did. So maybe we will get cars. But I've reached that point where I'm just like, The Sims 4 has no cars. I've accepted it. And so I hope that the Sims 5 base game does have cars. Even if it isn't open world, I still want to be able to have that car. Like, people's cars are such a huge part of their lives, like learning to drive, buying your first car, driving to work, having that garage. Like, people's cars, they spend so much money and time with and in them, and it just, cars are a big deal. And it's weird that they don't exist at all in The Sims 4. Like, you have those toy cars you can size up, but like, that looks dumb. And like, you can't really make garages in The Sims 4 because we have like maybe those weird metal doors from City Living, but like, there aren't really garage doors, and houses have garages. Like, it's so weird and hard to build a house without a garage, because you look at pictures of real ones and there's just garages everywhere, because that's just a part of life. And it's weird in a life simulation game to have such a big part missing. And like I said, I don't care about cars, but I think they're important to have in the game. There were some upgrades, like quality of gameplay, realism, I don't know how to explain this, but like upgrades to The Sims 4 that I hope they continue to include and expand upon in future Sims games. For example, time is more valuable in The Sims 4 than The Sims 3, which sounds weird, but like, a shower took a lot longer in The Sims 3 than it does in The Sims 4, so your Sims can get more done in a day. And hopefully they continue to like expand on that and make it more realistic, because like, it's hard to make an exact moment for moment comparison, because in real life, a shower takes what, like 15, 20 minutes, maybe, to like fully shower and like change and get dressed and stuff. But in The Sims, it takes a lot longer, and so it's hard and it doesn't really make sense, but like, it's this weird relative thing with like how long other things take, and it's weird and hard to pinpoint exactly, but like, I hope they continue to make the game and like the time things take and like the way things work more realistic like that. That's a really weird and vague way to say it, but like, I think you get what I mean. Like, I just want time to continue to be, I don't know, where am I going with this? I don't know. And things like multitasking didn't exist in The Sims 3. Better exists in The Sims 5, and hopefully exists better than it does in The Sims 4, because right now your Sims are very talky. Like, they'll like talk constantly instead of getting any work done. But in The Sims 3, for example, if I wanted to like eat dinner and watch TV, or like eat dinner and talk to my husband, no, you're eating dinner and that's it. But in The Sims 4, your Sims can eat dinner, talk to their husband, and watch TV all at once. Or like, go on the treadmill and listen to music and talk to their friend all at once. Or like, watch TV on the treadmill, or like talk in the swimming pool. And in The Sims 3, they couldn't do that. It was just the one interaction at one time. There was no multitasking at all. And that is really unrealistic. And they've made that really great in The Sims 4, but I hope that they make it better. And more things like more ways to make the game more realistic. I love the emotion system of The Sims 4. It makes the characters in your Sims feel a lot more lively than in The Sims 3, because they have like these feelings going on, right? But I hope they make it, I don't know how to explain this, but I feel like in The Sims 4, your Sims are like flirty, or they're happy, or they're sad, and like, that's baseline it. But I hope in The Sims 5, or in some sort of future Sims game, they make the Sims feel a little bit more dynamic. I don't know how to best explain that or do that. I probably shouldn't be talking about it because I'm not qualified to, but like, how do you represent life even more, and like people's, I don't know, feelings? You don't just get like a flirty moodlet and then feel flirty for 2 hours. Like, but how do you do that in a game? I don't know. Food for thought. In The Sims 2, your Sims had this attraction system where they had like turn-ons and turn-offs that made them like or dislike Sims and stuff, and I love that. I never played The Sims 2, so like, I can't really speak to it too much, because I've played The Sims 2 for like, I don't know, 4 hours max in my lifetime. Because, okay, before I get yelled at, I'm gonna clarify that I am 19 years old. I was 6 months old when The Sims 1 came out, and I was a small child when The Sims 2 came out, and I didn't have a computer or access to a computer or games or any siblings that played Sims because I'm the oldest, and so I couldn't play. It's not my fault. I was 4, okay? Sims 2. I like the idea of that attraction system, though, like where your Sims can find certain traits or like maybe even skills or abilities, jobs, whatever, attractive, even if you can't choose them. I don't know, because people in real life are like attracted to certain things or like grossed out by certain things, and I think it makes sense to have some more personality in your Sims. And speaking of personality, I hate that we only have 3 traits in The Sims 4. In The Sims 3, your traits, you had 5 of them, and so you had more variety in the trait options, and they were also a little bit more vague than The Sims 4, and I miss that. I miss giving my Sims 5 traits, because I feel like it's hard to define a Sim's personality by saying like, oh, they're creative and a snob and materialistic. Okay. They're lazy and they hate children. Okay, like that doesn't mean it. And they're vegetarian, by the way. Like, that's it. That's their whole personality. But in The Sims 3, you could have 5 traits, so you can kind of expand on that more. And I don't like this whole point system of traits stuff. I don't know if there's a way to get rid of it or change it or something, but I don't like how you can like earn points and then buy new traits. Like, I guess it makes sense that your Sims can kind of grow and evolve as they're growing up, but I don't like the like, I'm gonna spend 3,000 points and be fertile. Like, I'd rather buy a fertility treatment from like a doctor. But I do like that there's kind of like that grind, like trying to make it so your Sims can, I don't know, have cheaper bills or whatever. Like, I like that point thing, but I think that some traits shouldn't be involved with the point system, like fertility treatments or like becoming a better salesman. Maybe they should earn that salesman trait from doing a lot of selling of art pieces. Then they earn the trait instead of having to buy it. Because I guess you can kind of earn it right now by earning up points and then buying these like gameplay traits. But I think it's cooler if the game like awards it to you, like how you get awarded traits for completing aspirations. I think that makes more sense because then it's not this weird like, I paid money for a personality. Like, it's just weird. It's weird. I want terrain tools and toddlers in the base game. I think this is a mistake that can't be made again, obviously, because it was a nightmare disaster when they didn't have them in the base game of The Sims 4. But, like, if you're gonna make a new Sims game, you better have terrain tools and toddlers in the base game. Because, for one, it's so weird to add a life state to a game after it comes out. And like, I get they wanted it badly, they worked forever on it and stuff, but like, the concept of adding in a life state is so, first of all, impossible seeming. I don't know how they pulled that off. But also, like, in what world does that make sense? And it makes all of the packs that came out before that outdated. Same thing with terrain tools, because any pack that came out before toddlers has no toddler content. So they're trying to like play catch up and add things for toddlers now, but there's like nothing for toddlers in the game because every single pack before toddlers came out had no toddlers content. And like terrain tools, it's so weird to add terrain tools into a world that is completely flat. The Sims 4 is flat. Like, every part of it is very just meh. The Sims 3 worlds were more hilly and like it made sense to have terrain tools in some places. Like, you could build like lots on a cliff in The Sims 3, but in The Sims 4, you just have these like 30 by 20 flat squares, rectangles. But it's so weird to like, and then put a hill on it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't match the world around it. And that bothers me. So that they're gonna have these like big life-changing features, they need to be in the base game so that the worlds you make originally have like hilly areas, or your original base game families might have a toddler. Like, it doesn't make any sense to have these things added later because it makes everything else feel like it doesn't make any sense either. Nothing makes sense. I'm not making sense. Oh my god. Okay. Another opinion that I have that is probably gonna make if any Sims team member watches this, they're probably gonna be like, ah, and like cringe, because I feel like the issue of the color wheel is a big one. And I feel like everyone here in the comments is like, yes, color wheels, yes. But as far as like swatches in build mode and cast and stuff go, in The Sims 3, you could change them using a tool called Create a Style, and you could put any color or any pattern on any object at all in the Sims game. In cast and build mode, you could make it so like you could change the dining room chair and the chair like slats in the back and the cushion all separately. And you could change like each individual stripe on a shirt and stuff like that. Like, there is stuff that was so detailed in these items, and you can make it so it has like a duck pattern or like new stripes on a stripe. You could do like different fabrics and different colors and different whatever, and there was color wheels, and it was so much customization. And I miss that so much, but I think there's a line that has to be walked, because I'm not asking to have Create a Style back. That was so intensive on the game to be able to do that. I'm asking for a color wheel, I think. I don't need patterns, but a color wheel, or even just better swatches, would make the game so much better. Like, when you have beds, right? Even custom content can do this, where you buy the bed frame and the mattress and comforter and stuff separately, so you have an empty bed frame, and then you pick the swatch of that. And then you have the mattress and, you know, pillows or whatever comforter separate, and then you can pick the swatch of that. So I could mix and match, like, the most expensive bed frame and the cheapest mattress, or whatever, for price-wise or colors. Because right now, you have, like, this black bed frame and hot pink bed, but then you're stuck with, like, this dark wood tone in your room. What if I wanted, like, there's no way to mix and match that. So you have to kind of pick, like, do I care about the wood tone more or the color scheme? And, like, I don't know, the woods are a big issue in the game, like matching them all and stuff like that. And so if I could pick the swatch of like the wooden back of a chair and the cushion on it separately, that would be so much easier to customize things. Even like The Sims 2 and House Flipper can do that. Like, why don't we have that in The Sims 4? It should be in The Sims 5. I build so much and I care so much about these colors and the patterns and swatches I'm picking. I want to have more control over that because it's so hard to decorate and make things look nice when you have these limited swatches. But if I had more power over what I was doing, and like you could pick like counters and countertops separately, like you could pick like a darker wood and then like a white countertop, that'd be great instead of having like 2 options. I don't know. I just want to pick the wood swatches separately, okay? And also please, please, for the love of God, can you just give me matching wood swatches? I don't even care if it's like 4 of them. I'm so sick of having like new packs come out with these random wood colors that don't match anything else in the game. Like, you can't not let me pick my own wood swatches and then give me ones that don't match anything, because then it's just useless. Your build items are useless. This video has become me just complaining about The Sims 4. I'm so sorry, but you get my point. These are all things that I feel like are an issue in previous Sims games that I would love to have fixed or moved into The Sims 5. And I don't mean to complain too much, because there are so many features in build mode and cast, like the ability to shape and mold a Sim's face with like your mouse is so cool, and I would love that better be in The Sims 5. So I don't mean to just drag The Sims 4 for 20 minutes. I do love that game, and there are tons of things that I want to keep in The Sims 5, but there are also things that I want to change. So those are my final thoughts about what I would like to see in a Sims 5 base game. What about you guys? Let me know in the comments. Like I said before, I'd love to hear your opinions. I might talk about it again in a video now with your ideas, because we, I think, can build the perfect Sims base game. Will it look like this? Will it even happen? I don't know. We'll find out. It's fun. It could be fun to like look back on this video when a new Sims game comes out and be like, sis was wrong. But we'll see. I also have some more like Sims commentary videos linked down below, like I said before, but check those out, and also make sure to leave a like and comment and subscribe and do all those fun YouTube things. And in case you guys didn't know, I post new videos every single day, and so I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. I feel very passionate about this, like more so than I thought. That I am the definition of a Sims nerd. I'm obsessed, and it's a problem. It's like embarrassing. But also, you all are too, so I'm not that embarrassed. We're all in this together.